Defending in the builder base gives you elixir, so you need a good layout. That is why I have worked with professionals at RH Base Building to bring you the best bases for every builder hall level. These are custom built, exclusive for this video. I will explain why they work so that you can also use this to become a better attacker. If you're not subscribed to the channel, only a small percentage of my viewers are, I would obviously recommend doing so if you enjoy my Clash of Clans content. Builder Hall 1 is the tutorial. Builder Hall 2 is when you can first build a base, but you do not yet have access to the layout editor. You also can't remove obstacles. With that said, you want to protect the archer tower. It has the largest range, so we have it enclosed in walls to prevent barbarians getting to it. You also want to assure that archers can't instantly pick off any of your cannons. Should you come across bases not doing this, make sure to take advantage when you're attacking. Builder Hall 3, you now have access to the layout editor, but unfortunately you can't yet copy base links. This layout is enclosed because there are no wall breakers or the bomber at Builder Hall 3, and the crusher is nicely protected in the center with point defense at all 4 sides. The archer tower remains a key defense at this level, so there is a lot of high HP buildings around this alongside the air mine to prevent minions. The spring traps on the inside of the base are for the barbarians and archers. There's also a push trap there to push them away from the defenses, and we have a push trap to the outside of the base aiming to fling a giant towards the crusher to force the ability early. Builder Hall 4 has base links, so much easier for you. The baby dragon is the most powerful troop at this level, so the firecrackers and air bombs you cannot have easily sniped by archers. In this case, we actually have Tesla in front of them as well, so that a single baby dragon wouldn't be able to snipe them off. The general design of this one is something that is really interesting for the builder base because the guard post troops are always active. It's not like in the home village when the clan castle troops are lured. The guard post troops will pull any ground troops from the left or right side of the base in towards the crusher. Pretty cool to be able to trick your opponent with that, and as long as they don't have a bomber, because the double cannon is not reachable, it will just be firing at the ground troops the whole time. Builder Hall 5, we have to be able to stop the cannon carts, and remember, any of these bases are aimed at preventing the 3-star, not necessarily the 2-star, so in this first stage, the Builder Hall is used as a meat shield. The cannon cart in mortar mode can outrange the regular cannon, so we have spread out the archer towers, multi-mortar, and guard post troops in order to help prevent that. A common approach at Builder Hall 5 is using a baby dragon to snipe an archer tower, followed by a cannon cart in mortar mode to take advantage of that area. Both of the archer towers in this layout have Tesla in front, making that not so easy. The open walls on this layout also means that ground troops will again be forced in towards the crusher. Builder Hall 6 is the first time you have a multi-stage village, but at this level it is really trying to stack stage 1 to stop your opponent getting to stage 2, or if they do, they have as little troops as possible. When it comes to stage 2, the base looks very similar to a Builder Hall 2 or 3 level because we have limited defenses. We are funneling troops in towards the crusher, but also really protecting that archer tower. The main design and talking points are in stage 1. Witches can be pretty effective at this level, so we have centralized all of the splash defenses, the multi-mortar, roaster, and air bombs. The roaster and air bombs can easily wipe out all of the bats, whilst if the multi-mortar locks onto the witches, it can be very frustrating for an attacker. The spring traps and push traps are all located on the outside of the base. This is in case someone wants to use archers to snipe off the firecrackers or the archer tower, which is a very common thing to do. And that is the whole premise of base building, trying to make the most common strategies as difficult as possible. So yet again, we have to prevent the cannon cart in mortar mode. In this instance, should they try to enable that by wiping out one of the archer towers, the guard post troops are there to reinforce. Builder Hall 7, but you might be recognizing realizing the learning points can be applied to any builder hall level. With this one, the guard post troops are situated next to high damage defenses. You always want to try and do this because as the guard post troops are distracting, you want to have as much damage as possible. You might even be starting to recognize some of the elements in the bases. The archer tower, not easily snipeable from enemy archers because there's high HP buildings on the outside. Exactly the same with the firecrackers to the west. The firecrackers to the north has a Tesla in front to prevent the baby dragon sniping it. Moving across to stage 2, I didn't really mention this at Builder Hall 6, but Otto's outpost spawns the zappies. We can use these in a similar manner to the guard post troops. So there's a lot of defenses spread around Otto's outpost. As the zappies are distracting, they have time to deal the damage. Whilst on offense, it is recommended to use splash versus the zappies. On defense, you want to try and make this as difficult as possible. So centralizing the Otto's outpost means on top of the other benefits, they might have had to use the splash ability before they get there. Builder Hall 8 unlocks the Power Pecker, and we all know how powerful she can be when used correctly. This is why we have a very high DPS area at the north of the base. The push traps up here are placed in a way to push the Pecker or giants back out of the base. 2 firecrackers are further down in the base, providing massive damage to the dropship minion. There is a weakness if they were able to perfectly time the dropship bomb ability over the top of this, but there's still a lot of air coverage towards the north to deal with it. Moving to stage 2, what makes a troll Tesla even better? Adding push traps in front of it for extra trolliness. You might find designs that are pushed all of the way to an area of the map, in this case at 12 o'clock. The answer is pretty simple. It's to prevent cannon carts in mortar mode from that entire northern side. Now there is also a disadvantage that someone could place their battle machine at the southern area of the base and allow the ability to charge up, but in this design it's worth the trade-off. Builder Hall 9, and one strategy which is very popular is the mass baby dragons, using multiple sneeze abilities to one-shot firecrackers. The core has the firecrackers strategically placed with ground defenses in between. It retains its high cross-tanking value. You have that good mix and the baby dragons cannot get their value. You will notice the same principle applies for stage 2. Whether it's stage 1 or 2, we also have very good defense versus the cannon carts. The archer towers, lava launcher, and multi-mortar are strategically placed to prevent this, alongside push traps on the outside of the base in areas where there is not good coverage. Builder Hall 10, we have 2 designs for you. One will defend incredibly well up until Diamond League, 6,200 trophies. Then we have a second tailored to the high level meta. For the first base, no major defense can be taken down with archers. That's a common approach, sniping key defenses that are exposed towards the perimeter. We do have the double cannons towards 9 o'clock, but they are well protected with non-defensive buildings on the outside. It is not worth someone using multiple archers to get through those just to get to the double cannon. You might look at the first stage and think there is limited air coverage, but it is a trap. All of the mines are set to air in order to lure your opponents into a false sense of security. The defenses in the core of this base are the Ground Expo and the Mega Tesla, because a lot of people like to use P.E.K.K.A. at Builder Hall 10, so they can't get to those defenses without breaking through the walls and getting through everything else first. On the second stage, you can't easily get to defenses with the archers, you can't easily get to defenses with the cannon cart in mortar mode. If someone thinks they can do so at the west or the north of the base, well then there are push traps and Tesla to bait them. There's an interesting dynamic with the new builder base, and in this instance, stage 1 is more heavily stacked and designed in a way that there will be limited troops transferred to stage 2. Otto's outpost is then centralized in this base, so there is a good chance of preventing the 5 and 6 star. This next base is personally my favorite because I like to use the P.E.K.K.A. myself, and I don't really like the look at this base to attack. It is a boxed setup with open channels so that the P.E.K.K.A. will avoid the major defense. On top of that, it is very difficult to open up all 3 compartments with the bomber. You are almost forced to attack from the southern area, and with 2 crushers either side of the expo, there will be splash dealt to the P.E.K.K.A. early on. Should you want to support your P.E.K.K.A. with hog gliders, you cannot stun the cannon, double cannon, roaster, or mega Tesla towards the middle of the base, and we have the air bombs centralized with gaps against the baby dragon ability. You think this first stage is weak to air? Well, you're right, but wait until you see the second. I did want to give another shout out to RH Base Building. They put a huge amount of work into this video, building all of the bases, and if you want your own individualized custom bases, they sell designs for a variety of levels. I'll drop their Discord and website in the description. Moving on to stage 2, it's a ring base, which will force people to take a reinforcement bomber if the first one went down from stage 1, otherwise their troops would path all of the way around the major defenses. It is very heavy versus air. 4 core firecrackers, we've even got 1 on the flank, and the 2 on the opposite side have the guard post troops to help protect. As ever, just so you might get some joy watching your replays, we have the cannon carts baited at the west and northern areas of the base. Thank you again to RH Base Building. I hope this one has helped you. If you did enjoy this video, YouTube thinks you will like this one. Have a good day.